This is a Pokemon game where you get to time travel. This is Pokemon Thyme, where you travel between the past and the future, and that's specifically what this ROM hack is all about. You get to deal with the past, but also with the future, and you gotta stop two people from ruining both. So if you are ready, let's go.
So our journey starts off, and we are in the Gemstone outskirts. We learn about this island, that it's specifically an island where they worship Celebi, and if you guys don't know, Celebi is the time-traveling Pokemon. It can just go back and forward in time. Either way though, now that we're here, we choose to play as a male character, and then it's time to head out into the world. This old man doesn't let us up this route, and we find a strange charm. We talk to this fella, and also look at this statue, which is specifically dedicated to none else than Celebi. After interacting with it though, we get teleported seemingly back in time, and then forward in time again, which was very weird. We go to the Gemstone village and talk to this guy who tells us he wants to show us something really cool, but to show us that thing, we need to battle him. So we take him on, and we take down his Rattata, which easily is defeated, I think, here without too much hassle. So Pursuit and Fake Out are enough to take down his Rattata, and then there's still an Oddish on his team, which we also, hopefully, were able to take down relatively easily with the help of Pursuit as well. So we do have an Apom as our starter Pokemon, as you guys may notice, which is a little bit, on the weaker end in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, it did take a while of grinding here in this game to actually make progress, but eventually we do defeat the Remoraid as well with some Fury Swipes, and we defeated this guy. Now he tells us that we get the Shady Letter, which will come in handy later on if we need to enter a specific place in the inn. So now that we dealt with that, we go around, find some lemonade, another statue of this Pokemon, and as we enter this building, we notice a man who's asking these girls if they've seen his strange charm, similar to the one we found. Well, he basically lost it, and he's been using that. He also seems to be talking like an old person, saying his name is Richard of Yonder region, which is a bit of a strange thing, so we decided to follow after him and see where he went. He actually went up to the Celebi Shrine, and he's trying to interact with it, because he realized, wait a minute, I found my thingy here last time. Once he interacts with it, though, he's sent back in time. So we do the same thing, and there it is, guys. We were sent in, I guess, into the future in this case. And the old man is here, and the person that was with him earlier too, I guess his grandson. They're still here, though, and it looks like Richard here, who is one of the people that we're going to be having to hunt after, he specifically is going to use this to just travel back and forth in time to steal things, because he's a proud thief. Either way, along the way, we also meet one of these youngsters. He's using a Skiploom, so we decide to battle it, and we're able to do a decent amount of damage with the help of Fury Swipes. Eventually, we find him, and he realizes, wait a minute, this Gemstone outskirts area looks quite different from what it did before. It must have changed, I guess, so which it actually has, though. We find a Doduo as well from this guy and defeat it relatively easily, and then make our way up the route. As we reach the city, we notice that the inn has changed as well, as it seems we have traveled back in time. That's at least what it looks like, as this area just looks different, man. It's not the same as it used to be. This old man is just having a night time, and we do a little bit of exploration all around the city, as there is still a bunch of stuff to see here. So, actually, I want to just ask you guys really quickly, what is your favorite mythical Pokemon? Let me know in the comment section down below. Either way, we continue on our journey now. So, we battle one of these lasses here. She uses a Noctowl, so we just spam mostly Fury Swipes, because, well, we don't really have any other options. It is our only real moves here with Apom. Nonetheless, though, after doing it a few times, we get in 5 hits, and it survives on barely any HP, so we're going to have to finish it off real quick with just a Pursuit. Now, we finished that battle, so we make our way towards the beach and meet Richard again. You guys may know Richard. We met him earlier in the future, and, well, he's the one who's been kind of doing all this stuff where he's traveling between time. So he uses the shrine here to travel into the future, and we do the exact same thing, but then we run into a new person, and yeah, we're now in the future version of this Gemstone beach. And apparently the person in front of us is someone who understands how these things work, how these charms work. However, well, Richard runs away, and this person runs after him. We don't know exactly who this individual is just yet, but we make it over to the actual mansion, or rather the hotel. We talk to this guy who says, hey, you got a letter from my pal, the guy we actually battled earlier. You guys may remember him. It was this sketchy dude. We battled him, and, well, now we gain access to this really creepy room. We go inside, and, well, apparently these guys are playing poker. Actually, they're playing Go Fish, and they just give us props for earning our way in here. It's really weird. Nonetheless, after leaving all of them, we make it back to the beach, and we get ourselves a boat. Yes, we literally rent a boat, which looks really funny like this. Nonetheless, we also have a battle to do here, so go with the Fake Out against the Basculin, which is great because then it will flinch automatically. We also go with the Fury Swipe, which does a decent chunk of damage, and it hits quite a few times, which is great. It's one of those moves that just comes in handy. So, after being able to defeat the Basculin, we can now continue down the river, or rather the lake, I don't really know, and make it into Jamoat City. And here, this person is trying to sell us, like, scam items, but we decide not to buy any of that, and we find Richard. Now, actually try to battle Richard. I try to go up against him here because he's demanding me to give him my charm. But we lose to him and we decide, okay, let's time travel. Maybe we'll figure something better out. We find this dude on the beach and he tells us not to tell anybody about his secret place here. And in exchange, he'll give us a Pokeball. So we receive a free Phoebus, which is great. We also find this guy who's selling something, but we don't have enough money to buy it. An old man is blocking the path, so we time travel to actually get rid of him away from the path. Now that he's gone, we make it into the Jam Top Cliffs, and we can actually look around for a Pokemon, because there is actually grass here. Now, we find ourselves a Geodude, which we capture and add to the team, and of course, we're going to be calling this one Hard, and then we use the Elder Shrine to travel into the future again. So we're back in Jamot City, and now we should be much stronger and able to actually battle and defeat this man, Richard. Now, Richard is a strange man. I'm not even going to lie. Richard is just a weirdo. He's odd. He's strange. He's a bit annoying, to say the least, but he's got himself a duo. We go for the Fake Out, of course, as per usual, then a Swift. We switch into Phoebus against his Arcanine just to kind of delay things, but he goes for the Bite and kills us right away. We go into Hard, and here we get hit by a Flame Wheel. Then we go for Rock Throw, which only hits once, which is really weird because, well, actually, no, that's not Rock Blast, it's Rock Throw. But yeah, we should have actually used Rock Blast in this case if we had it. But nonetheless, he has a shiny Magikarp. Yes, it's a shiny Magikarp of all things. Did not expect that one, to be honest with you guys, but it should be relatively easy to take down. He does have a lot of potions, though, so he just keeps spamming those, which is a little bit annoying because, I mean, it's a Magikarp. It can't do anything. It's just going to keep splashing itself. That's really all it's got. But nonetheless, after beating him, he's kind of angry, and all of a sudden, he actually gets latched onto by a bird. He kind of gets kidnapped by one, which is, really strange. I don't know. Now we try to figure out. This guy doesn't actually let us go up here, and he says, haha, you're never going to get to enter it unless you're in an entirely different time period. Well, we actually time travel, and now we are in a different time period when he's not blocking the path. So we get up the stairs, but apparently the mansion is still blocked off, and he tells us, hey, just go to the shrine in the back and just look at that instead, which allows us to actually time travel. So now that we're back here, we're past the guy blocking the pathway down there, but the entrance to the mansion is open. We find a rare candy, which will come in handy later, and then we make it into this room where we find that girl from earlier. Apparently, she kidnapped Richard. She actually used her bird Pokemon, her Swallow or whatever. She actually used it to kidnap him. And, well, she actually knows about the, well, time travel. She knows about it, and she wants the charms. She wants the, you know, the special charms that we've been using to actually time travel. But here's the thing, though. Richard doesn't want to give it to her, and apparently she calls herself Lady Thyme, which is interesting because that's the name of the game. But he decides to call her Alexandra because Richard is a literal Chad, and he just calls people whatever he wants to call them. So he just calls her Alexandra, and that's the name he gives her. We try to escape, but she stops us because apparently this whole mansion is just a giant prison. So we gotta battle her. She's got a Swallow. We go for the Fake Out, which is able to just give us a little bit of leeway. We go for the Swift, which does a decent chunk of damage as well, but not enough to take it down. We also actually, I think, have to heal ourselves here a few times because the quick attacks are just too strong. But luckily, our Pursuit does hit, so it's very low here in terms of HP. Phoebus doesn't really stand much of a chance and dies. However, Hard comes in and is able to take it down. Next up, there is going to be a Voltorb. We go for the Rock Throw, which isn't the best of options. We get hit by a Sonic Boom, which does a lot of damage, but the Rock Blast comes in next. We get the first hit, which is critical, and the second hit as well. So 2-time hit, and she is done for. Okay, so we beat her, but she tells us that she's not going to let us out anyway. So we decide going through the mansion is the most logical thing. We run into Scientist Ronald. He uses a Plusle, so here we go for the flinch, of course, as per usual, with Fake Out, and then we get hit by Spark, which is really problematic because we get paralyzed here. Now, this paralysis is a little annoying because when we get paralyzed, it just kind of slows our boy down here. We lose Apom, so we have to switch in Hard and go for the Rock Blasts, which luckily is all that's necessary, okay? We just need to spam those, and we are pretty much Gucci. Now that we made it past that guy, we run into several more of these dudes. One of them has a Clink. We get it with Rock Blast. We hit it multiple freaking times. We do a lot of damage, but apparently it's not enough, okay? It's just not enough. We get, like, you know, hit also by it as well, so we go for another Rock Blast, and that's enough to defeat it. Now that we defeated the Clink, though, we have one more battle to go before we can get to that statue over there, because as you may notice, the statues are our way to actually time travel. Now, this Elekid is not that big of a deal. We hit it 3 times with Rock Blast. That's enough to take it down, and now we travel to the past when this mansion didn't even exist. As we get to this past version of the world, we run into a Poliwag in the wild, and we decide to actually capture it and add it to a squad, because honestly, having an extra Pokemon is just useful. Nonetheless, though, we run into these guys blocking the path, and Apom evolves as we battle a few more Pokemon as well. We run into, well, shortly after evolving our boy into an Ambipom, we run into this guy, this fisherman, who's really pissed off that we found him. Now, I think this guy may be the same guy we met earlier. I could be crazy, but his name is Fisherman Joe, and he uses a Chinchou, so We go in with hard, we go for the rock blast, which does a decent amount of damage. Like, honestly, it's really good, but it only hit once, and he actually healed himself up, and I was really hoping we can get a 4 or 5 hit here, but we only get 3 hits in, which is a bit annoying. So when the water gun does come through, it takes down hard, and we have to go into Poliwag with the double slap to finish off the Chinchou. However, we do also have a Gyarados to deal with, and here this thingy goes for bounce, so he actually uses bounce on it, which is a move that I don't really see a lot of people using, if I'm going to be frankly honest. Not a lot of people actually go for it. We instead then switch out into Ambipom after losing our Poliwag, and we go for the fake out first and the double hit next. However, he goes for the tackle, does a little bit of damage, and we decide to go for a swift here just to kind of like make sure we guaranteed get the hit and we don't miss, because double hit apparently can miss by some chance, because we end up missing a few moves later on. Either way, Clamperl is the last Pokemon in this team, and here we're stuck in a Vortex, which is just gonna kind of chip away at our health a little bit, tiny bit. So we go for the Swift just to make sure, again, to guarantee the hit, and there it is. Clamperl is done. Now that we've done that, we can actually time travel, and as we time travel, we're back in the mansion again, which is, well, a little bit of a problem, because we run into Alexandra, or Lady Thyme, whatever you would really call her. It doesn't really matter. We run into her, though, and, well, she is just telling us to run, and we literally get chased down in here. Like, she's straight up chasing us all the way through this place. She even says that she loves chasing down people, which is kind of morbid, if I'm going to be honest. It just sounds a little bit insane and insidious and just evil, to say the least, okay? It doesn't sound like what a normal person would say. Nonetheless, though, now that we're outside, we battle this guy who has a Geodude, and it's mostly just a battle of spamming rocks at each other, so I go for the Rock Blast. Luckily, though, it does do enough damage to take down his Geodude, which gives us the dub against that one. But he also has a Rattata, so we go for Rock Blast, and luckily, we do get the triple hit, which means we don't have to take too long on this battle any further. But he also has a Meditite, so we make sure to finish that off with Ambipom with the Fake Out, and there it is, Hiker Johnson is completed. Now, we also got to make our way into Jamoat City again. However, we didn't really realize where we were supposed to go here, so we just kind of look around until we find one of these statues that takes us into the past. We run into another battle against another hiker. This fella just uses himself a, well, team of Geodudes and the same stuff we've kind of already seen. We go for the Fake Out on Ambipom, which is great, but then we also go for the double hits because they're just honestly the strongest things we have. And yeah, I don't know, double hit is a weird move, I'm not gonna lie. However, though, we give a rare candy to Hard and he evolves. So you guys remember the rare candy we found in the mansion earlier? Well, this is the one that we gave to Hard, and now finally he's evolved into a Graveler. We get to the next little town here, and we run into an old man that says, well, the shrine used to be, you know, visited by Celebi in the past, and we use it to travel into the future, and we run into Richard. So yes, he's back here again, and well, he just thinks that we're here to see his greatness, and that we should give him our charm. We should give him our strange charm so he can time travel. You know, that's really what he wants. But again, we're not going to give him anything for free. This dude has not earned it. Instead, we're going to have to battle him. So, of course, it is Richard, which means we're going to run into that duo again. We go for the Fake Out, which is great, gives the flinch, but also, this thing does not stand much of a chance. He does go for the Super Potion, though, which is a little annoying. But we make sure to go for the Swift, of course, to get the guaranteed hits, which is perfect. We go for another Swift, and that defeats the duo. But remember, he still has the... oh, whoa, wait, never mind. That is a Gyarados. Guys, remember, so he had a Magikarp that was shiny, but that's evolved now into a Gyarados. So he has that one, but also he still has the Arcanine. Let's not forget about that. However, against the Gyarados, we get hit by an Ice Fang. Luckily, it doesn't freeze us or anything. We go for another double hit, but we miss. And this actually happens multiple times here. For whatever reason, we end up missing a lot of times. Meanwhile, he hits his Hydro Pumps, which has like less accuracy as far as I remember. But yeah, nonetheless, we go for another double hit. It takes down Gyarados, which is perfect. So we've taken down the Gyarados almost here. We just got to get the Swift in, and that's it. There is one more Pokemon to go, though, which is going to be Arcanine. Well, actually, there's one more Pokemon after this, but for the most part, Arcanine is the most difficult one left. We go for Double Hit, which does a little bit of damage. We go for, well, then get hit by the Bite, which is a little problematic. We make sure to try to go for another Double Hit here, just kind of worried we're going to miss again like we did earlier. However, we do actually hit this time, which is good, but the Ember comes in, and it's, well, it hits us pretty hard to the point that we actually get poisoned, or actually not poisoned, burnt. So, now he goes for the Extreme Speed, which outspeeds us, of course. It's just normal. Of course, that's going to happen. So we switch into Hard, and we take him down with a Rock Blast. However, the last Pokemon in that side, in that squad that Richard has, is going to be Gloom. Now, of course, Hard is not really the best Pokemon for this situation. I'm not going to lie. It is kind of a bad situation for us nonetheless, but fear not, we get hit by the Mega Drain and destroyed. We still do have, though, Ambipom. So we switch him in, and now that we have Fake Out back, because remember, if you switch out in and out, Fake Out is always used only on the first moment that your Pokemon comes out. So you're always going to make sure you use Fake Out straight away, because it's a free hit. It's literally a free hit. However, after defeating him though, Alexandra shows up and she's just being insidious. She tells us that, haha, okay, I'm stealing the charm from you, which she does. She takes the charm away from us and she's gonna go catch Celebi. That's what her whole goal is. The whole point of her doing this is to catch Celebi, to study it, but also to use it for her own means and reasons. I don't really know what those reasons are, but we try to find where she is. We look around. She's not here at the original shrine. This is the first shrine from the game that we ran into. She's not here. However, we can't find her in the city until we run into the Thyme forest. In here, we realize, okay, here she is, and she's about to use this like shrine here, this old elder shrine, which was built by some sort of ancient civilization. She's going to specifically use this one to time travel back, which is exactly what happens here. We time travel together, all three of us, into the past, and this is the point where she's going to go and capture Celebi, but well, we have to stop her in this case. So we check out the shrine, and then we make our way towards the next place, which is going to be Thyme town. Here we make sure to sell some of our nuggets to make sure we got some extra items by buying them from this fella. And we run into Richard, who actually, you know, you can actually battle him. He has a really strong team, but he's not our goal right now. Instead, this is our goal. We have to stop Alexandra from catching Celebi. So the battle takes place. Now, this is actually one of the hardest battles in the game. She starts off the victory bell, we go for the fake out, which is great as it gives us a free flinch. However, though, we go next for a double hit, which also does a decent chunk of damage to the point that it takes down the victory bell. However, what's the next Pokemon going to be? Well, it's going to be a bit of a doozy. It's going to be Electrode. So here, of course, we can't go for fake out again, because Ambipar has already used it so far once. So we go for the double hit, hoping it does enough damage, which it does do. It actually does a lot of damage, but there's a lot of fear, you know, in case I get like paralyzed or something like that. It would be really annoying because then we can't, you know, we can't have the priority hits. However, we get this, you know, the first double hit is a critical hit, which is just perfect. And the second one does a lot of damage too, but she has 2 super potions that she spams on this Electrode. However, now it's on such a lower HP that if we can get a critical, it would be perfect. However, we don't get the critical hit this time. Instead, we go for Swift afterwards because I thought she wasn't going to heal again, except she's done it like 3 times now. For some reason, she really wanted this Electrode to stay alive because she kept freaking healing it. We hit her 2 times with the double hit again. The light screen actually fades at this point, and we decide, okay, maybe it's finally time to go for, well, the Swift to finish things off, which it was. Finally, it's done. Electrode is gone. However, she also has a Sand Slash, and here, well, it's a little bit risky, right? We go for the double hit, hoping it will do enough damage that we won't actually lose Ambipom, which at this point is very risky. As the Rock Slide comes in, it does a lot of damage. However, the double hit now should be enough, just barely enough, to actually inch us out and take down the Sand Slash. She also has a Swallow. This is the one that actually kidnapped Richard earlier. It takes us down with an Aerial Ace, which is a little problematic, but we do have Hard, so we go into Rock Hard here, our friend, and use the Rock Blast, which of course is going to do a lot of damage against Swallow if we can hit it multiple times. We hit it 1, 2, 3, and then that's almost it. Well, guys, we almost got there, but don't worry. We go for the Rock Blast, and we actually outspeed here, which is a little bit surprising. I'm not even gonna lie. We actually outsped her, which was a bit strange. She still has a Crobat, though, and here, well, it's a little bit, you know, it could go anyway, right? We get hit by the Cross Poison, which doesn't do a lot. The fear of, like, you know, actually getting poisoned is always the biggest one, but we miss our first Rock Blast, and then go for a second Rock Blast, and this time, we actually hit. But not just once, not just twice, not even 3 times. We get 4 hits in, which is all that was necessary to take down Crobat. Now the Crobat's gone though, we defeated Alexandra, but you guys also know what that means? We have finished the game. Yes, we saved Celebi, she tried to get it, she can't actually reach it, and we've completed our journey. We get the Blessed Charms, and now we can go and actually capture Celebi ourselves, or just enjoy some extra battles in the post-game. If you guys want to check out the game, make sure to do these extra things. See you guys the next time. Bye.